So you like to eat your wife's puss when she's on her period, man. You like to eat her puss when she's on the rag and bleeding away. Oh, she's bleeding away now. She's bleeding away, and you wanna get on down, 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 down. You wanna get down and eat her puss when she's on the floor. When she's on the floor. People asking you all sorts of questions. Oh, why is around your mouth all red? And you're tired of explaining why your mouth is all red. And you don't need to explain because they don't know, but they'll know. But you gotta tell them, I suppose. You gotta tell them. It's because you ate out your wife or your girlfriend when she was on her period, man. And that's wonderful. And you're like, do I wash my face? No, you shouldn't have to. Societal pressures of, oh, you're gonna have to go back in the evening and eat her out again. And she's bleeding still because it goes on for a few days. So you don't need to explain yourself to nobody. Welcome to the show. Glad you made it. This is a social production. Thank you for joining me once again. It is October 24th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing it wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, my familia, the family, the syndicate, and the gang. Over there, furthermore of the gang, further down south. The United States of Americas, all 50 beautiful states. Further down south, Mexico, even further than Mexico, further down south. South America, all the way. Peru, Lima, we'll get to that later. Over there, and Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, Denmark, over there in the Congo, over there in Zimbabwe, over there in Singapore, over there in Kuala Lumpur, over there in Tokyo, Japan, of course, in Beijing. In the Korea, Seoul, over there in Taipei, over there in Uzbekistan, Serbia, where else? So many places. You get it, all around the world. Just excited to be here. Thank you for joining me once again. It is a wonderful day. Got a lot to discuss. Lots of fun to be had, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta figure it out. We're doing it together, one step at a time. Each and every one of us. It's a little tiny piece of the puzzle. Is it going to ever get solved? Is it even meant to be solved? Or is it just finding your place, finding how you're supposed to do things and whatnot? One of those things, ladies and gentlemen, I've been reading, I've been thinking, read an article, and then read a bunch of other stuff. It was about education and technology, how it's impacting education and pedagogy. They threw that word in there, pedagogy or pedagogy, depending how you want to say it, pedagogical method of teaching and education. Because that's the thing, that they say the future are the children, the youth are the children, and you gotta make sure that they're ready for the future. Keep your eyes off of them. Next thing you know, it's turning into a shit show. Keep too much of an eye on them, and next thing you know, it's also turning into a shit show. Next thing you know, oh, it's crazy town. How do you do it? I don't know. Reading and figuring things out. But yeah, technology's got a big role to play into education. They're saying that, there's a school called Alpha Academy or Alpha School in San Fran. They're doing a new thing. They're doing 2-hour education days, 2-hour schooling days, and the rest of it is just let the AI take over. They're doing that thing, or if I'm not mistaken, I'm not quite sure actually how they do it, but it's like 2 hours of like traditional schooling, like math, history, maybe a little bit of science or science, as we like to say in Paris, in France. Oh, you like a little bit of the science, eh? Is parlez-vous en science? They're doing that. They're, the teachers, they change the teachers' names to coaches. So you send your kids to these schools, and now they're getting coached. They're no longer being taught, because again, that's pedagogy. The teaching method. They want to switch up the roles a little, play around with the roles a little bit. So you got to prepare them for what's in the future, and nobody knows what's in the future. We know a lot of tech is coming. That's going to be, just fucking taking a shovel and a jackhammer to everything we knew and that we're used to. That's the workforce. Everything's getting impacted. So yeah, they're doing that in San Fran. Just have AI, give them apps, give them the tablets, and let them run loose. Let them cook a little bit, Let him do accounting a little bit, teach him about money, give him money to go out there and play dice, give him money to go out there and gamble, have them lose the money, have them be facing real life consequences where the teachers will play the role of a collector. They'll come and ask for the money. You got my money, little Jimmy, you got my money or what? Little Jimmy doesn't have the money, he doesn't understand. Well, his kneecaps are gonna get taken out. Guess what? New pedagogy. And he'll lose his kneecaps, not permanently, of course, damaged kneecaps for little Yimmy. But down the line, he would have learned all about money, fiscal responsibility, and pedagogy. And how to use his apps to get online and gamble instead of having to make a trip to the casino. That's difficult. That's difficult for a youngin'. But they're doing that, we're doing it together, it's nice. And that's, the question is, what do you do? Do you do traditional pedagogy? I don't even think that's a word. Somebody made that up. Somebody made all these words of pedagogy. It sounds wrong. It sounds like an illness. That boy's got the pedagogy. I can see that in his face. He's pedagogically impaired. Jesus Christ, keep him away. Put him in a locked away cabin somewhere far from society where no one can see his face. What are you even talking about? But that's people are doing it different. People are doing homeschooling. I read another article in terms of education. People are investing a lot in their kids. A rich family in the UK and London, they're seeking a tutor for £180,000. Let's just say dollars, okay? Enough with these different currencies. Let's just make it $180,000 let's just do dollars worldwide, all right? With your weird ass pound sign that I had to look at in computers. What is that? The squiggly line with another line. What do you do it? Just do a dollar sign like regular human being. Who you fooling? To all the other nations in the world, follow suit, get the dollar, make it your currency. Enough. Measurements need to be all, global. We need to have inches can stay, centimeters can stay. Yards, fuck yards, let's get rid of that. Stones, let's get rid of that. This makes easier communication. $180,000. They're seeking a tutor to tutor their one-year-old, because they decided after having a tutor for their 5-year-old, it's already too late for the 5-year-old. That kid's gone already. It's too late to tutor him. They want to get this kid primed and ready for a special school, the Eton School. I don't know what that school is, but apparently it's a special school for special kids, special, beautiful British kids that are going to grow up to be beautiful adolescents and then beautiful young adults and then beautiful adults contributing to, who knows, culture, society, finance, big tech, small tech, medium-sized tech for a short period of time, of course, but then move on to big tech because that's where the money's at. That's where the shakers and movers are. So you want this little kid, $180,000 tutoring a 1-year-old. And again, it's too late for that 5-year-old is going to be a crackhead. Might as well just kick him out of the house and close the door and wipe your hands clean away. With that experiment, 5-year-old, he's a goner right now. It's too late for him. No one can help this kid. 5 years old, so they decided to get a tutor for the 1-year-old. Now, 180,000. They did have a couple of requirements for this tutor. You got to be British. You got to be from the UK. You got to have that British culture in you because they want this kid to go along with this tutor on a daily and do different activities. Get him ready. Get that 1-year-old ready. Take him to the zoo. Show him some, British animals. Like a lion with a British accent. Like a lion that's like carrying an umbrella because he's British, or a falcon. A British falcon who's also carrying an umbrella. As you'll learn, little one, all the British animals carry umbrellas because of their innate British quality. And that's something you'll learn. Whereas your 5-year-old brother, lost cause. He will not fit into the Eton School. Might as well just send him to a regular public school with all the other normal kids, regular kids. I wonder what kind of life he's going to lead. Could turn out wonderful, but most likely will end up on the streets. Probably, because you're not invested in your child. Decisions. But what do you teach a 1-year-old? 180,000, that's a lot of dough for 180,000. That kid better come out, fucking, while all the other 1-year-olds are having a difficult time, lifting up their heads, this kid better be fucking doing, weight training, doing shrugs, doing pull-ups, doing shoulder presses. I want to see that kid jacked, physically, superior to all the other kids. Math skills, he has got to at least be able to whip out his phone to do a couple of basic, times this, divide that. I don't need to do it in his head, but he does need to be able to function a phone at least. By one, take him to the museum to show him a couple of things of the past and tell him, look at these things from the past. Tell him the importance of the things of the past. But then to move along, get him a for $180,000, you gotta, as a tutor, it's your responsibility to breastfeed this kid. You gotta breastfeed that kid. For $180,000, you are a wet nurse at this point. We are getting our money's worth. If I'm spending because that's the thing I thought about. I'm like, that's far away from my reality, but I want to prepare myself. It's what you put out into the world. So I'm thinking a day when, resources are just plenty and I've got, nothing but resources, 180,000, that's chump change, $1 million, a tutor. And as soon as he comes out the vag, I want that tutor to be ready. I want to, get him ready. I want to get in there with a tutor. Maybe we'll get the tutor to go inside the womb prior to birth, because, the 5-year-old, again, lost cause. Who knows how the 1-year-old is going to turn out, but I want to get ahead. In the future, I will spend $1 million, send a tutor inside my wife's vagina. I'm talking 2nd to 3rd trimester. You're moving in there, pal. You are moving in there and you are playing music. You're getting a little violin and just playing it, getting the fiddle, do a little bit of tap dancing, get a little tiny tablet that can be folded. So, you get it inside the vag and then unfold it and then show them the videos of ballet, classical shit. Mozart, play a little bit of that. You might come out really, do things that are great, or you might become a criminal who listens to classical music. Who knows? But $180,000, yeah, I want that kid typing. I don't even know if typing is going to be necessary in the future, but I want him typing nonetheless. I want him to play an instrument, but I also want him to be able to use AI to make music, because everything is taken over by AI. Just teach him AI. Make him AI. Make the baby AI, all right? $180,000. I want that kid to just be, driving. Teach him martial arts. He better have good neck control. He better have the best neck control, because I've seen loose babies, 1-year-olds, just no neck control. All right, I want that baby just fucking, turning. Swivel this, swivel that. You know what I'm talking about. That baby better be on the prowl. You know what I'm talking about. That baby better learn to, defend himself, build shelter from scratch, make food from scratch. Like really, like from scratch, like no animals in sight. Make the animals with your hand, I don't know how you do it, but 180,000, you better teach that kid something. Again, how's it gonna turn out? I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but again, it's up to you. Or do you just send them to regular school? Because look at all the people that went to regular school that went off into different streams of life and did wonderful things. Or they could become a criminal, an insane criminal. Do you wanna send them out with the rest of the criminals out there? Or isolation and extreme attention from a young age might also spoil them as well. So you never know. And then, so you got to decide, what are you going to do? Pedagogically speaking, that is. That kid better learn fencing. He better learn all the sports, rowing, kayaking, polo. Better learn like 5 instruments. By the time he's 2, if he's not like speaking, I don't know, Cantonese, if that baby is not speaking Cantonese, I will, as a father who spent 180,000, if that baby is not learning Cantonese, I will rip you to shreds. I will take out your balls. I'm not going to invest in a male tutor. Scratch that. Not leaving a male with my 1-year-old. Definitely not doing that. Female tutor. You wish you had balls, and if you don't teach my kid Cantonese, I will make you hope that you had balls, so I could rip him off and shove it down your throat and ask you questions like, where'd my money go to? Mary Poppins, where'd my money go to? All right, why can't my kid hold up his neck? He's 13 months old. Why can't he fucking chew proper food, When he wants a tit, he should be able to say, Mama, titty, mama, give me the titty. teaching the basics. If that kid is just fucking using hand gestures and throwing up gang signs, I will come back and get my money from you. Get him to ask for a titty, you will be compensated fairly, all right? And adequately too. And you can house with us. I don't know what that means. It's in-house services, meaning you will service us in the house. Should your services be needed, after you're done with the baby, for me and the wife, then it's $180,000. You just do what you're told then, all right? I don't know how tutors work, but that's people doing things in terms of education, investing in their kids. So, it's a toss-up out there. Don't worry, we're all doing it together. It'll be fine. That kid's probably either going to be a prime minister or a president or some sort of, high-functioning, tizzed out little, I don't know, might invent stuff, might get us to, other planets, even further than the ones that NASA wants to get us to, or Elon Musk wants to get us to. That kid might just be the savior of humanity. $180,000. I don't, think about how much I got spent on in terms of just life and education. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Or it does, or it makes a huge difference. It's exposure. You got to expose your kids to different things. You are what your surroundings are, most likely. Teachers, parents impact the youth. The youth follow the teachers and the parents, and grown-ups are role models. So a lot of it is surrounding exposure. But what do I know? Anyway, moving along, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people are wondering to themselves and asking, which is why I came in and said, what, if a lot of people are wondering it to themselves, there's probably a lot of people that want this question answered. And the big question on everybody's mind today is, can a gangbanger have a fulfilling and a thriving solo career? The age-old question, can a gangbanger have a solo career? A lot of times people like to say that if you are a gangbanger, it's not meant for you to go out there and spread your wings and do your solo banging. Do it with a gang. If you start out in a gang, 5, 6 that you're doing gang banging activities, and then you get it in your head that you want to go out there and have a solo gang and banging experience, it's difficult. They say that. I just want to take this time and say, despite the fact that I'm not an expert at anything, specifically gang banging, I would like to say that if you have a dream, follow it, pursue it. Sure, you had a great time, 5, 6 of you spending God knows how many days together, months, years, building relationships, doing gangbanging activities. And it's fun. It's fun. You're in a group. You're on a bus. You're touring, from city to city, from county to county, from state to state, from province to province, from country to country, from continent to continent. You are doing gangbanging activities together. One of you's not feeling well, the other ones will pitch in. He can't come tonight. He's all dried up. He's got the blue balls. His balls are sad. He can't come. He'll be there present, physically present, but he won't be able to ejaculate as much. And that's, you got 5 other individuals, fellow gangbangers, will fill in and make sure that the entire experience is still exquisite for the gangbangee, for whoever's getting gangbanged. But then, you have a few good years of gangbanging, and all of a sudden you're like, what, I think I can do this on my own. And you want to get out there, and there's gonna be naysayers. I'm not gonna tell you it's gonna be easy. Anytime anybody wants to step out and do something for themselves, there's gonna be naysayers. They're gonna be like, you don't have enough sperm in your ball sack to make up for 4 and 5, 6 other people's loads. You don't have enough. They don't know you. They can't judge you. Those are the limits that people will set on for themselves. They're projecting. They don't want you to go out there and have multiple loads. Well, I say, what? If you want to have a solo career and you had a wonderful time gangbanging in a crew, you definitely can do it. It's completely up to you. You set the bar. All right? Don't listen to them. They will say, you need at least 5, 6 people to do gangbanging. You can do a gangbang by yourself. Sure, you're going to have to be quick on your feet. You're going to have to fill in positions where otherwise it would have been filled with other people. Again, a lot of times it's easy to do single penetration when you're by yourself, but a gangbang will allow you to do multiple penetrations Now you're gonna have to fill in those roles. And we're talking, you know, single penetration, double penetration, triple penetration, quadruple penetration. You know, these are extremely difficult to do, but you can do it because you got hands and you got feet. Yeah, your cock goes into one hole, sure. But you're like, what do I do with the rest of the holes? That's for you to, you know, I'm not a expert in anything, especially gangbang, but I mean, you got fingers, right? You got 10 fingers. You got more fingers than there are holes in an individual's body. I'm just saying, be creative. Do not let the hate get to you and naysayers say, oh, this guy thinks he can go, or this gal thinks he or she can go out there and gangbang by the... You can do it if you set your mind to set a goal. Set a goal for a month. Be like, I'm only going to do single penetration by myself. After that, be like, you know what? This month, I think I feel comfortable. Do double penetration moving forward. Like, I don't have enough jizz in my body. Do something about it. Get on testosterone. Get on testosterone. Get it. Bring in a pet. Bring in a pet. You know? Because a pet is a pet is a pet is a pet is not a member of the gang. If you got a horse with you, use their ejac to cover whoever you're coming on, and that'll be as, you know, that'll probably be more of a load than 5 human beings, and it doesn't count as a member. So technically you're still a solo banger out there. What I'm telling you to do is don't, you know, put limits on yourself. That's all from one individual. Again, just a little, you know, it's a little piece of the giant puzzle that we all are, and telling you to go for it, do it, believe in yourself, drink lots of milkshakes, eat a lot of mango. I hear that helps with the taste of the cum. And if you're a female and you want to, you know, do bukakis by yourself, you're gonna have to go at a faster rate. You're gonna have to, you know, hit it from the back and then get in front of them, you know, flick that clit in their face, and then climb on top and then do it another time and then get on the side. You got to get it all covered up from different angles. But my point is that you can do it if you set your mind to it. So don't listen to if anybody's telling you right now you can't do it. You can. You just got to believe. All right. So I hope that helps. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. What day is today? It is Friday. Let me get a sip of this bad boy. Peru. Lima. A flight got delayed recently for a few hours because of a loose hamster. A family smuggled a loose hamster on the plane. It got separated from the family and ran wild. People were trying to catch it, and the flight was delayed. This one caught my attention because of, you know, flights having abnormalities, you know, any delays, any sort of aviation problems. I'm interested. I know you're interested as well, but this one doesn't quite do it for me, which is why I like to say try to do it better next time. All right, Peru, Lima, people from Lima. If you really want to get people's attention, if you really want to make a difference, if you really want to, you know, put on a show, here's some recommendations. Use better animals, all right? Because a hamster is cute. It's not really, not quite sure how it made the cut, but it made the cut. But moving forward, I like to see bigger and more dangerous animals if possible, because it would have been better if we heard that, you know, in Peru, Lima, a flight got delayed because of a loose alligator. Somebody smuggled an alligator, got loose, and it ate half the population on the plane. Rest in peace. It would have been a better story. All right, horrible ending in terms of death and human loss, yes, but way more exhilarating in comparison to the loose hamster. You know, I want to hear about a wild rooster that somebody brought in, you know, used makeup to make him look like a child, but then it got loose, the makeup came off. The wild rooster went around and pecked everybody's eyes out. Half the population on the plane lost their eyesight, causing a delay. You know, I want to hear snakes on a plane's been done. I don't want to see snakes on a plane. That's been done. You know, cockroaches, disgusting animals, but survivors. 500 cockroaches got lost and are running loose on a plane. Everybody fell asleep mid-air. They crawled up into people's nostrils and ears and genitals and ate their insides until there was nothing but loose skin, loose human skin. Upon arrival, flight attendants found people with loose skin and no innards, and it was disgusting, and it was a shame. But I'm just saying, loose hamster doesn't quite do it for me, so I'm just giving you some ideas. Few people may take pit bulls and Rottweilers on planes and let them have it. Let them go wild. A little bit of, not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying, put money on them, gamble on them a little bit, make it exciting. If flight got delayed because of a couple of Rottweilers who were running wild, trying to kill one another, ended up killing half the population on the airplane, delaying the flight for 5 hours. Again, the intensity is way higher with bigger, stronger, or sometimes nastier animals. All right? Unless the hamster is trained, unless the hamster is, in a little circus, sideshow or something, it's trained to go and crawl up your vag, sit in there, and then crawl out. Eat a little bit of, cheese, and then crawl back in your vag. I would like to see that, if it's trained to do that and that only. Otherwise, Peru, Lima. Love y'all. But again, I do want to see a little bit more intensity. Come back next year. Come back next year. The judges will say that you've got something, but it needs to be worked on, and try it out in front of different audiences. I say that, work on it, get bigger animals, stronger animals. A chimp is a showstopper. Not telling you what to do, but again, a chimp is brought onto the plane, rips up half the population's intestines out of their bodies, and mauls everybody to death, delaying the flight for 6 hours from Peru. Got a better ring to it than a hamster, but not my show. Not my show, Peru. Everybody's extremely health conscious these days, which is wonderful. It's nice. Everybody's trying to eat healthier, at least, trying to do a little bit more exercise. These are good things. We've come a long way in terms of human history. Everybody's living longer. Historically speaking, these are really great times. We're doing amazing things. And you got to question, do we sometimes go too far, or is there no such thing? Introducing Dakota. All right, it's a beautiful $600 poop cam that gets installed in your toilet, and you take a shit. It tells you all, it dissects your shit, and it sends it off, it's connected to your phone and to an app. It dissects your shit, and it tells you what your gut biome is like. It tells you how you're doing in terms of health by looking at your shit. It's called stool gazing. Stool gazing, ladies and gentlemen. We have this right now. We have this technology. It's for $600. You can, again, install it in your toilet. Have yourself, your loved ones, family members, friends, relatives, acquaintances, strangers could come by your house. You could tell them about their gut biome. Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. You can never be healthy enough. You can never get fascinated with one topic enough. You can never dwell on something enough. And where's a better place to start than the shit? They say this, the inside that counts. I knew it, man. I knew they say it's the inside that counts, and it's true. But all I'm saying is, again, it's traditional versus neo. It's whether we're talking about education, pedagogy, it's, again, traditional versus neo, traditional education versus neo education, traditional pedagogy or neo pedagogy, traditional stool gazing or neo stool gazing. It doesn't have to be versus. It could be a combination of both, as we can see that there are benefits to both of them. Probably there's somewhere in between that we could gather. But I do want to just say this, do not be like one of these folks that says, oh, I'm limited by my resources, I don't have $600 to dispense for the Dakota poop cam. How am I going to get to know what my gut biome is like and how I'm doing in terms of health and digestion? What about my IBS? You'll say that. I get it. Times are rough for a lot of people. It's, financially again, globally speaking, we're in really great times, but still there's a lot of people out there that are still, doing the whole month to month thing, paycheck to paycheck. That's a lot of people out there. That is a lot of people out there. And my heart goes out to those individuals. I do want to say that do not limit yourself by your resources. This is where traditional stool gazing comes into play. This is where you grab the shit from the toilet bowl before you even plummets into the water. Cup it in your hand, take it. Traditional stool gazing, look at it, bring it in. Waft that shit. All right? If it's too difficult for you to get underneath your own asshole, have a family member or a friend get under there. Both hands out, grab that stool gaze together. These are things that we used to do as a collective. Oftentimes people are like, oh, in these new times and new era, it's a new world. Everybody's off into a separated part of the home. Everybody's isolated, headphones on, looking at a screen. Nobody makes time to stool gaze together. We are being separated by technology. No, ladies and gentlemen. I say we can be brought together using both traditional means and new methods of doing things. So when it comes to stool gazing, sure, it's fine if you want to go spend $600 and have your poop broken down and tell you if you're, missing zinc, missing vitamin D, missing, silicium. That's not a thing. I just made it up, but it could, unless it's a thing, then I meant to say it's silicium. How's your silicium doing? Oh, this fella's got poor silicium levels. Fucking get it up then. See a doctor. Brought to you by silicium. But again, traditional methods work as well. You don't need to go and be like, oh, Christmas gifts for the kids, or professional neo stool gazer for the entire family. Do traditional, do it to buy fewer items in terms of Christmas gifts if you're a little bit restricted with your means right now. I get it, but then do traditional stool gazing. Take turns, all right? Have your lover take your shit, put it in a Ziploc, and just, wave it around. Open it up, take a whiff, take a little spoon, take a whole spoonful, put it in your mouth. How does it taste? Gargle it a little bit. Gargle that poop in your mouth. That's how we used to do it traditionally. Oh, this guy needs a little bit more peanut butter. This guy can use a little bit more iron. This guy or this gal, try a little bit of fish oils. Oh, too much fish oils. Too much fish oils. But again, you need to taste test in order to be able to tell what's going on inside your gut. So this is fantastic. With the Dakota, of course, because it's taking images and sending it off to a lab somewhere, so it's being dissected, and whether they're humans looking at it or AI looking at it, there's risks of it, of course. As more of our data gets online, and there's more risk of it getting exposed to hackers and cyber attacks, because you never know. You don't want your fucking poop to be attacked by some sort of cyber attack from, whether it could be North Korea, it could be Russia, it could be China, it could be from Mars, it could be from inside, it could come from what if a small group of hackers inside our own walls, gets to know your poop better than you know your poop. What if images of your poop get replicated and get produced in movies, music videos, and all of a sudden you see your poop all over the place, man. Your poop's becoming famous and people are making bank off your shit. And you got no clue. And that could happen too. You could have the best poop. You could have the best poop and not know it. What if somebody hacks into the system, finds the formula to your poop, starts creating your poop in a lab, sells it to people, high quality, grade A poop. And here you are walking around thinking you just got some regular shit, while they've got the fancy shit sold in bottles, and that's coming out of your ass. It's coming out of your pocket. That's food from your kid's mouth. Not the shit. It's not the poop itself. That's not the food for yes, you know what I mean. And the food that's not the food that you feed your kids. You wouldn't take your shit and feed it to you. That'd be horrible. That'd be horrible if you did that. But you know what I mean. It would translate to further, money, resources, income that could get you food for your kids. But nonetheless, food from your kids' mouths are being stolen by some hackers. That could happen too. Or they find out what you're prone to, what are your deficiencies, and they start, feeding you more deficiencies. They tell you the reverse of what's good for you. Eat more strawberries, they'll say. And then, strawberries are not good for you, specifically you. Everybody else, it works great. But for you, you'll die. You'll die in 3 months because somebody knows your gut biome better than you know your gut biome. Who knows? Again, mix these two methods of traditional and neo stool gazing, post it online, send it to relatives and loved ones, especially again, the holidays. We just had the Canadian Thanksgiving. I'm only one individual, so I don't really celebrate much, but I take notice of the American holidays more because it just feels right inside. So Thanksgiving is coming up. Christmas is around the corner. Of course, these are images that you could share with your family and friends and engage in a deep, meaningful conversation of what it means to have healthy gut biomes, all right? Instead of name tags, take images of your shit and wear it on your chest. Have individuals, again, family members, relatives, friends, acquaintances, even strangers, look at it, identify you by your stool sample. And that's brought to you by, again, Dakota. This podcast is not brought to you by Dakota. It could easily be brought to you by Dakota, which I will say, if it will, should this ever happen, I will say that I have nothing but great experiences with Dakota. Ever since I started stool gazing via Dakota, my life has changed for the better. My income has 1000x'd. My poop is solid. It comes out like I can decide what kind of poop I have now on a daily basis. You know, a lot of people don't control their poop, but with Dakota, I'm in control now. And that's where Dakota came into my life, gave me the control over my shit. Sometimes, you know, I'd go there prior to Dakota and I don't know what kind of shit I'm getting. Could be little pebbles. It could be little Hershey Kisses. It could be smooth and long. And it was all a toss up. I had no clue. But with Dakota, I pick and choose. I want diarrhea, I'll get diarrhea. I'll just set it into the database, send it, scan it, reverse it, x-ray it, send it, reverse it, email it, fax it, receive it, and it again comes out the way I like it. I will have diarrhea for 7 days straight without feeling ill, thanks to Dakota, should this partnership happen. If it doesn't, then I will say this. Stick with trad stool gazing. You don't want to waste your money, do you? But again, I would never say that if we were sponsored. I would never say that. There was an option of buying my girlfriend an anniversary gift, but instead I opted for the Dakota stool gazer or the poop camera, and our relationship has gotten even stronger. She said, "Oh, you know me so well. I wanted you to get us a stool / poop cam instead of some, you know, superficial, you know, surface level gift that'll come and go." I'll say that should I by then have a girlfriend or a sponsorship. If not, then I will say stick to trad stool gazing. That's raw dog it right in the palm of your hand. You know, just sniff it. Ireland, shout out to Ireland, my Irish people, my Irish folk. Top of the morning to yes. If it isn't Flanagan, Fligginin, Schmleginin. The old Irish, beautiful Irish people. They're after me Lucky Charms. Oh, they're after me Lucky Charms. They're after me underwear. They're after me nipples. They're after me breakfast. You want to get my breakfast? You're looking to get my breakfast? What's going on in Ireland? Ireland is having a little bit of a thing. Keeps, you know, there's an issue. There's an issue that's going on, and all of Europe keeps. I don't know to what extent because I'm not there. I do see images on the lines. There was a protest, a large protest outside of a asylum seekers hotel. It's a hotel that's given or allocated to asylum seekers who are coming in, seeking asylum. And this is caused a bit of a, it was all fine before, but I believe this week they had a, I'm just gonna say because it happened apparently, there's a sexual assault by one of the asylum seekers on one of the Irish people. It may have been a child. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, or it might have been of age. Nonetheless, a sexual assault of asylums, and then people went wild. They went to the streets. They're like, oh. So here, until we figure this whole thing out together. It is a global issue. Okay, immigration, migration, war, cause and effect, this, that, and the other. until we figure it out, because this is a long one, it's a big one. It's not an easy, it's not a one day fix. It's not a quick and easy fix until we fix it together. I got a temporary solution. In the meantime, first and foremost, let's just separate it. Let's just break it down. Sexual assault, rape. Don't do it. Again, I'm going to preface with saying that don't do it. If you are going to do it, it's best you stick with your own kind. Stick with your own kind. Again, I don't want us to be separated or segregated, but if you are going to, if you are going to do it, stick with your own kind, especially as a newcomer. You don't want to be a newcomer and then doing it's not a good look. It's not a good look for the entire, population. Probably mostly good people. Again, this whole thing is, it's a complex situation. Why does it happen? How does it occur? Why do so many people get up and leave and come to other places? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I'm not going to try to, attempt to come up with any solutions. But in the meantime, again, stick with your own, do in-group rape and or sexual assault so that at least people can say, oh, okay, it was sexual assault or rape, but it was at least in-group. Alternatives. If people are coming over from any place to your place, raping, sexual assaulting, send one of your people to their place. Have it reciprocated, because it's got to be evened out. If it's got to be, you can't just come after me, Lucky Charms, and then not expect me to come after your Lucky Charms. So send an Irish fella or a lady who's ready to go to overseas, wherever these individuals came from. Send them there. Send one individual there. An eye for an eye. This is not the same. This is not the same. But at least it'll keep because you got to keep you can't have society just fucking erupt and things fall over. So send somebody over from Ireland or anywhere else for that matter. If you have asylum seekers who are doing criminal activity, most people who do, seek asylum or become immigrants or migrant, most of them are good people. But then again, you do get the few individuals like any other group. Keep it in-house. Don't do it. That's again. But if you are going to keep it in-house. If it does happen, send somebody over wherever that person is. Send a few people over to that place. Reverse it just so things are again evened out. You don't want to have imbalance in terms of who's coming and who's going. So send it over. That's again not the perfect solution. I don't have the answers. But that's, again, one thing. Better to do something than do nothing. So send somebody over so that people will calm down and really be like, yes, at least we got somebody over there. Did we send, O'Connor. Did we send that guy over there? O'Connor McGavin. Did we send O'Connor McGavin? Did we send him over there to do a little bit of, so do that. It won't make it. It's not going to make it right. It's not. But at least again, it's just again. I don't have the solution. You want I don't have the solution for this. It's a long, complex conversation that regular, people on the, it comes from up top. These things come from up top. It's, again, we will get through this together. Go to their hotels, back wherever they came from, if they've got any. All right, seek asylum there. Send some of your people there. Reverse it for the meantime. Again, these are not perfect solutions. I'm just saying, do not do any of it. But if you are contemplating as to what it is you should do, reverse it. Always reciprocate. What else is going on? I believe, oh man, the White House ballroom's getting renovated. Hell yeah, dude, I love renovations. I remember one time we renovated when I was younger, when I was living with my folks. We renovated the basement. We did the basement, finished the basement. Renovations are exciting because we had just a bare bones basement. It wasn't finished, and my parents got somebody to come in. A crew came in and finished the basement, and then we got a full basement, a walkout bay, and that was wonderful. It went on a little bit longer than expected, and that's what I learned as a young man. I'm like, man, these guys, I forget how long it was supposed to go on, maybe like a month and then it kept on going for a little bit longer. And initially they hit up my mom and dad with this is gonna cost, I forget the cost of it back then, but it was gonna cost a penny, and then it would, when they were almost done, they're like, oh, it's gonna cost a little bit more. And then, my dad had to have a conversation with the individuals, the contractors, I remember it was dusty for a long time. It was really dusty for like a month or two. The whole house was just, you'd open the door to the basement and the dust would come up. They'd clean up and everything, but it was exciting though, because then at the end, you got the finished basement. Oh, beautiful basement. It's great to, do construction. Construction is fun. All right. A little bit of drywall, a little bit of, just where's the nail gun? Where's the tape measure? Where are the saws? Where's the cement? Where's all the tools? Where's the, it's beautiful. I like it. So the construction is going on for the ballroom of the White House. I'm for it. The sponsors I believe it's coming out of Donald Trump's pocket. Probably Trump's paying for it, along with a few other sponsors, which is nice. It's nice to get. I wish, that's the one part of this that I wish we all got was I wish, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of sponsors coming in and like pitching in with the renovation cost. I believe large sums of money coming in from different people. I forget who exactly. I think Google, Microsoft, maybe Meta, that's Zuckerberg. Palantir, Lockheed Martin. These are great people that have contributed to remodeling a ballroom or any space for them. I just wish, whenever anybody went out there and wanted to do renovations, I wish there was a whole bunch of, giant corporations and they would come in and pitch in. It's nice. It's nice to get a new ballroom. People were upset. Some people were upset. Most people, most people probably don't care, but people will find things to be upset about. I don't know why, because they're like, oh, he's going to just take a wrecking ball to the ball. And it turns out, I briefly looked into it. Apparently there's a whole other bunch of presidents who redone parts of the White House so people do the White House all over again, do different portions of it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. $200-300 million. Money's no problem. Money's not a concern. Money is not a concern. A ballroom though, make it into, do what you're gonna do. It's just we don't do ballrooms anymore. That's the whole thing. That's because the ballrooms for makes me think of 18th century, 17th century, ballrooms when people went out and had a ball. You'd get out there in fancy gowns and, twirl as, with no showers. Everybody just fucking perfumed it up, and then, large wigs, and then you'd dance in circles, and then you went off into the evening and you lifted a giant skirt, which was layered. A layered skirt got lifted. 5 layers had to be lifted in order to be able to shag outside by a tree. Hopefully, nobody saw you. And if they did, there were no cameras. That was the beauty of it. That was the only person who saw you. So it's a beautiful part of ballrooms and ballroom gatherings. We don't have that anymore. We could bring it back. Of course, it's not going to be, with giant, dresses and men with, tights on. Or we could bring it back. But a ballroom, I guess it could be, it's the White House. It's the palace. It's the palace of the kingdom. That's what it is. So you gotta do renovations. You gotta spruce it up. You gotta make it look nice. What about what if there were balls in the room? What if a large portion of the room was covered in balls? Just, you could do, like a fun house. How you have a little, a ball pit. When you were younger, you'd jump in a ball pit. That was fun. But I'm talking about human balls. What about that? Like a ballroom? What about we collect the balls of our enemies, and every time we get one, we toss it in the ballroom. Just start in a corner. Gonna take a lot of, balls, but we'll get it up there. Or it doesn't even have to be from enemies. It could just be from, people who we love, who passed away. We collect their balls, put it in the ballroom, hence the ballroom. Doesn't have to be your balls. People who die, what are you gonna do with their balls? You just put it down in the earth and toss a little bit of dirt in it? Might as well take them out and collect them in a room. Difficult to say whose ball that is upon seeing it. Maybe we could tag the balls. That's that ball. That's so and so's ball. That's so and so's ball over there. And then that's the other guy over there. That's the other guy's balls. Oh, remember that guy? But no, 200-300 million. It's a good amount of money to spend on renovate. I like renovations. Make that floor better be buffed up and shined up. Things better be covered in gold plated, ivory, large windows, see-through windows, high ceiling. I want to see high ceilings. Disco balls, perhaps too tacky but it is a ballroom. It is a ballroom. So maybe a neo disco ball covered with not just mirrors and just like fancy diamonds. How about that? Fancy diamond disco ball. Just a giant ball covered in diamonds. Nice juicy blood diamonds. Worthy of a ballroom that's supposed to just be looked at. And, people will look at this centuries from now. People will look at this and be like, oh, look at this giant disco ball covered in blood diamonds. And they'll see that it's from this era, which is nice. So yeah, we're doing that. It's beautiful. Shout out to the White House. Shout out to renovations, construction projects. Keep doing it. I'm a fan. Again, I'm not designing, and if I were designing, I'd have saloon doors because I like saloon doors. I get rid of all revolving doors. I'll get rid of any revolving door. Every other door will be saloon doors, just because they can flip open and close from both sides, and that's something that most doors are missing. But again, probably not suitable for. Again, I'm not designing it though. I'm not. If it was up to me, slightly change the color of the interior. I know everything's white in there, but like slightly change it. Just make it like an off-white, like an eggshell white, just to see if anybody else notices. Don't say anything. Just slightly change the interior color. It's still white, but it's it's not matching. And that could be like or do you want it to be matching? It's difficult decisions that you got to make, man. But it's good to have sponsors. Again, future renovations will be coming up in my life. I would like to say that I like all these sponsors. I want all these sponsored to do well in their businesses, whatever businesses they're in, whether it's tech, AI, robotics, arms manufacturers, big oil tycoons, anybody in there, telecom, whoever's involved. I like all of you. We should all prosper together. And may you have many ballrooms in your lives out there, all of you. A change is coming in Canada, that's right, and in my life too. Personally speaking, I've decided to spruce things up a little bit in my life. I know many of you are looking at me and you've known me if you've been with me from the get-go, you know that to many of you, I'm just another black man. Just another nigga out there trying his best. To some of you, I'm just another white man out there who is just, trying his best. I'm just a regular white guy doing, some of you, I may be one of those two. Or to some of you, I might be, just another Japanese guy trying to just make it one day at a time. And, these are, but that's, I'm not quite sure what you think of me. It doesn't matter. The point is that I am what I am. And as a black, white, Japanese man, I'd like to just say that I'm taking this time to transition. I am doing another transition. Of course, this is not the first time that I've transitioned. I will transition once again. I'm racially transitioning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm racially transitioning because it's important that we all do what's right for us, do what makes sense for us. I'm racially transitioning into an Aboriginal or an Indigenous person. I am now Native Canadian, Native American. I'm Indigenous now. I want you to just recognize it, please. Thank you. My people have gone through a lot, but change has come our way, if I'm not mistaken. Government of Canada has now decided to give up property rights, private property ownership rights, and they're giving it away to Aboriginal people. That's the gist of it. There's a Supreme Court ruling that looked at land in British Columbia, and they decided that a portion of the land is unceded, and that's why they're giving it to Aboriginal people. And that's when I decided, that's when I felt, right? That's when it hit me that I'm like, man, this is great for me. As somebody who's recently just transitioned to an Aboriginal individual, again, my people have gone through a lot. I didn't know what unceded land was, to be honest with you. I had to look it up. I didn't know what it meant, because then I'm like, if it's unceded, what is ceded? I don't know many things. It hurts. Sometimes it hurts as to how little I know. But the good thing is that I can always learn more, which is what makes me keep going. I learned that ceded land is land that you give up freely, I think. Unceded means land that you did not give up. And I had to ask myself, does anyone in the history of humanity has actually had unceded land? Was there ever unceded land? That was the question that came, because if you've got land, you just willy-nilly, I don't think anybody's ever given it up. But my people did. My people sometimes did and sometimes didn't. There's ceded versus unceded, and there was portions of this land that was unceded by my people, my good Aboriginal, Indigenous people, my great, all of them. I don't know the percentage. I'm not gonna look it up. You can tell by the look of me. Again, to many of you, this may come as a shocker. You're like, oh, we are so used to you just being a Jamaican black man who is partially white and Japanese. I know change is difficult. Accept it, okay? Land ownership in Canada, it's difficult for a lot of people to get their footing inside the housing market. I know a lot of young people are having a difficult time out there. A lot of old people too are having a difficult time just maintaining lifestyles and their mortgages and property taxes, this, that, and the other. But I know what's right for me. This felt right. I saw this, and again, I've been out there hunting raccoons, beaver pelts. I'm into the beaver pelt business now. Foxtails, if I see a fox, I'll catch it. I will hunt it down with a bow and arrow as an Aboriginal. It's what I do. All right. I got a little axe. I run around with an axe. I don't know what I'm supposed to. I'm learning. This is all coming. Change comes quicker than you think sometimes, and it just happened. It made sense for me. I don't know how much of it I'm going to get in terms of the land, but I will get some of it. There's a lot of us will get some, others will get some more. And you're like, what about the private property ownership? Well, it was most likely you weren't going to get any anyway. It was mostly with the way the government has been working, the Liberal government in Canada, the way it's been working, the fact that most of them are just puppets for organizations like the WEF, and they want us to own nothing and be happy. I'd like to put forward that I think I'm going to be happier with, owning some stuff. Mostly, I'm going to be a happy owner. I want that to be, that's my prerogative, and I'm going to move forward with being happy. It's fine. You can try it. You can try not owning things and be happy. I want to try owning a lot and being extremely happy. You do you out there. I'm going to do what's right for me. And from now on, you can refer to me as Chief. And yeah, I did make Chief. I just went strict because I've got a lot of lost time I got to make up. I'm Chief Letmesmell Yoqueef. That's what you can call me that from now on. Chief Letmesmell Yoqueef is my name from now on moving forward. And I will, I'll make it. Don't worry about what I'll do with my land. I will make a teepee. I will make tea. And then I'll pee as well. I will paint my face. I'll wear the outfits. I'll wear the outfits, dog. I'll get feathers and shit in my hair. I will, I'll look into the landscape and I'll just shed tears. Water will come out of my tear, because you don't know, my people. That's what we do. We look at nature and it impacts us. All right. I have spent 5 to 10 minutes just touching a tree. I did that because it felt right for me and my. I don't know what you and yours are doing out there, but me and mine. I touched the tree, talked to me. I said, congratulations. I said, thank you, great grandfather. Thank you. Touched me, and then it was beautiful. But then I realized it wasn't the tree that was touching me. It was It's a rabid squirrel. It's a patchy squirrel with missing fur and its tail. I think it had rabies. Then that's when I decided to dip the site and knew that it was time for me to move on to bigger and better things. And that is my patch of land. I'm getting a whole lot of land, and that's what it is, baby. That's what we do in Canada. You don't technically own the land. Government owns the land. If it decides to give it away, it can. But again, it sucks to be you, I guess, if you're not Aboriginal, all right? If you're not Aboriginal, I'm not quite sure how it's gonna go for you. But if you are like me, you will get a lot of land. And that's the way it works. Because that's unceded. We never gave it up. We never gave it up, as opposed to those other fools who just gave up land. You know, when people give up land, people give up land. People give up land all the time. My people didn't. My people didn't. As a matter of fact, I'd like to just claim that if this is setting a precedent, not just for Canada, if other nations want to do this, I want to say ancestrally, my lineage has never given up land anywhere. It's going all the way back to Pangea. All right, so I own land in Africa, in Europe, in Asia. It's what it is what it is. Or I'm not here to tell you about property rights and what it is that you have a contract. That's nice that you have a contract, but it was unceded because my great grandparents all around the world never gave up any piece of land, despite what you hear. Never, ever. So I want to just say I will start with Canada, taking what's mine, and the rest of you, it sucks to just be regular non-Aboriginals, non-Indigenous, So yeah, again, I've transitioned. The transition is done and over with. Again, this Chief Letmesmell Yoqueef, that's my name right there. I'm a proud landowner now. It's good to have property. Probably gonna build a casino on it. It was simple. It was very simple. It was land that people were giving up and land that people weren't giving up. My land, never gave it up. Never said giving it up. Never gonna give you up, never gonna put you down. Never gonna make you cry. That was my people. My people did that. It was about land. It was not about love. It was about land and property rights. And in Canada, that's the way she blows. So if you don't like it, suck on these Indigenous nuts right there. All right? That's what it is. I'm bringing in my stuff. I'm moving in soon. I'm gonna bring in my pet beluga whale. I'm gonna do what I wish with it. If I want to suck on its blubber, I will. If I want to move up to somewhere where it's a little bit colder, build an igloo, I will. If I want to drill a hole through 2 meters of ice to catch a fish using my new bride as the fishing equipment. She likes taking cold dives, all right, into the water. She doesn't mind. I hold her by the feet. She gets into the hole, grabs the fish. I pull her out. We eat the fish. We make love. It's what we do. All right? We're going to fight polar bears. We're going to get a couple of huskies. That's the way it goes, baby. So thank you very much. And we're here today doing it together. Ladies and gentlemen, what else is going on? I heard a Connecticut mother, 57 years old, Kimberly Sullivan, if I'm not mistaken, has been arrested, was arrested because she's a stepmom to a stepson she apparently kept this boy from the time for decades and locked him up for decades. He's 32 now. He managed to escape by setting the house on fire he's 32, he just escaped. Allegedly. I don't know the details of it, but set the house on fire and I know what you're thinking. Most people, I initially thought, I'm like, man, that's not good to lock people away for 32 years. But then again, it's 32 years. That's a long time to be locked away. Now, a little bit of it is on you. A little bit of it is on you. I'm gonna say if you are locked away for, decades, that's too much. If you're not getting killed, I mean, especially because again, stepmother, female, the individual who is captured, a male. I could see how it could work when you're young, but after you hit adolescence and you're like, well, what if he was malnourished? Still, as a man, as a biological male, how he can't somehow make a break for it. I mean, that's a little bit of it is on you. A little bit, I'm just, again, my opinion, this is, you have yours. You have yours. I'm going to say, that's, because you could look at it from many angles. Some people might be like, oh, that's inhumane, that's cruel. Or it's a caring individual, it's a caring mother who wants to keep an eye out on their son. A lot of people will just set their kids out loose in the street and come back when the sun sets and when the moon is rising. By then, your kid is probably, hooked on 5 drugs, sniffing Tusi off a hooker's asshole and selling his to make money for the next hit. And people say this kid was locked up for decades. That's too long of a time to be locked up. You have got to, I'm going to say a little bit of the responsibility falls on the individual. That's too much. If it was a female person that got locked, that would have been different because, but again, as a male, I just can't, once you get to your teens, how do you not, punch the bitch in the face? It's normally we don't do that, of course, but if you're being captured, when she comes to feed you, fucking sweep the legs, do something. You're at all that energy, all that, oh, you didn't have enough food. Fucking will it out. He set the house on fire. I believe she is going back. And I'm not quite sure what's happening, to be honest with you. I didn't read too much into it. I believe I don't know if she was sentenced or is being sentenced or whatnot, but she might be returning to the house. It's burnt now. I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, that got my attention because I'm decades of being captive. Who's the captive? You know what I mean? Who's being captured? Because at that point, it's 32 decades. That's somebody feeding you. Sure, you don't have, a lot of freedom and stuff, but it's kind of like a maid. It's kind of having a maid for a long time, not doing anything, not going outside. You don't have to worry about making money. That's a lot of people's struggle out there, to get out there and somehow make money. You were kind of pampered in a sense. I'll say that's my takeaway from this. You were pampered. Yeah, make a break for it. If it's a female that's captured you and you hit those teens, you got to get away, son. You got to get away. A little bit of responsibility. There's a new thing that's happening. It's happened in the past, but apparently this is happening a little bit more. They say deadly teenage takeovers. Apparently this is a new thing where teenagers, gather in masses in different cities and just cause a ruckus, and some of it sometimes turns deadly. And again, all of this goes back to, again, what? Education, pedagogy, if it's even a real word. Or something, or families and communities. And so how do you, but it's not the first time this has happened. It's probably happened in the past as well, where the youth fucking get together and just go out there in thousands and, it starts with fun and games, but then it turns into, damaging property, setting things on fire, killing one another once in a while. How to deal with it. A steady hand, a steady, solid, firm, authoritative hand. You need a individual who's willing to get in there and just put the, because there's one thing about youthful energy that's fun and games is all good, but after you stabbed a couple of people and maybe shot a couple of people, then things need to, that's when you get in there and whip the whip, as they say, crack the whip. Get in there and crack the whip. Send out law enforcement to sweep these kids. Just fucking sweep the legs, work the bodies. Use pepper spray, paintballs, or rubber bullets. Beat them up if you need to. If they're killing individuals, then you do need to get in there and just fucking karate chop the mannerism back into them, finding things for them to do in order to occupy themselves. Again, it is, times are different. People are wondering what to do with jobs and everything, so they're probably, that feeling of teenage angst of, oh, what's the future going to be? If they're looking at, large companies that are laying off people and replacing them with robots and AI, maybe they're like, oh, what? So, you got to create something for them to do. So take that youthful energy, engage it, reverse it, put it into, send them to the academy. I don't know what academy, like a dance academy, like a, just like a social media academy, some sort of, catering academy, cooking, working with your hands, building stuff. Send them to do that. Partying is fine, but again, if it goes to killing your fellow youth, you can't do that. Kill a couple of them to show them that you are the grown-ups, that you have the power. Once you get in there, you can, just a few, to make an example. Whoever did the kill them, put them up on just hang their bodies out there for the other ones. I don't know how much this is happening, because you see things in the media. I don't know how big of a problem. If it's just a one-off, then you don't need to kill anyone. I'm just saying. Again, none of these are solutions, because this is for fun and games. I'm not quite sure how to deal with it, to be honest with you. But there you have it. It's deadly teenage takeovers. They're not really taken over, because they're teenagers. They're merely hanging out, loitering at best. Taken over is a little bit, we're using that term extremely loosely here. I've never seen teenagers take over anything. This is, which begs the question, are humans innately evil or innately good? I thought about this. I think humans are innately good. I'll say, I don't believe the narrative of the Lord of the Flies narrative. I don't believe that. That if you leave people to their own accord, innately, naturally, they will do evil things. I don't believe that. I think it's taught. And I actually disagree with the, Lord of the Flies. Great book, great movie, loved it. But again, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a long time since I've reviewed the text or watched the movie, but if I'm not mistaken, those kids were already in a setting where they were on a plane, they were on a plane, and once their plane crashed, it was already wartime. There was a time of war, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the whole details of it, but they were little kids who were, it was wartime, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they were maybe getting trained to become soldiers. Like, what do you call those young, the cadets? Maybe they were cadets or something. So they're already, we're not talking about a whole blank slate I'm talking about blank slate individuals. None of our human interactions are societal expectations, norms, rules, regulations. If you were to leave humanity just blank slate, just throw them out into space, make sure they can breathe in space, but how would that individual and then individuals that turn into groups, how would they interact together? I don't think we're innately evil. I don't even know how we got there, but I believe I believe most of it is good. I think hate and evil behavior gets taught. Of course, both of those could be reinforced by interactions, learning patterns, behaviors. What are we even talking about? I don't even know, dude. Fucking Chief Smell Yoqueef is here. That's excited about my land. That's all I gotta say. The point is that, beat him up if you need to. Use force. A lot of times, too much of a delicate hand could lead to. We've all heard the saying. The saying is, the soft men create. The soft eggs, they turn the egg whites into soft yolk. The yolk turn into, you can make hard-boiled eggs, which in turn give the men a good source of protein. But then again, if you soft men turn into medium men, and then medium to soft men turn into hard men, and then hard men get together and then they bone, and then that turns out gay. And then they can't reproduce. Two hard men can never reproduce. And that's when two cocks go head to head, that'll result in maybe a fun time for some, but you're not gonna get a baby out of that. You remember that saying that soft men can't get hard, and if they do, if they're surrounded by other hard men, if they jizz on each other's face. That's a bukkake. If hard men create bukkakes. Bukkakes were invented in Japan. Japanese men gave us the gift of bukkakes. That's, you know the saying. Soft men want to participate in bukkakes. They can never get hard. Men, in order to get hard, you can sometimes, it's most likely your body will enable you to get hard as a soft man. You can take stuff, there's pills for that now. You can get hard. Blue Chew. This podcast could be brought to you by Blue Chew, along with Dakota stool gazing cameras. Soft men at a certain age, you'll be hard. You start soft. As a baby, you are a soft baby boy. Then you hit puberty, then you get hard. And those are hard. I wouldn't call them men. You're a young boy. I experienced that myself. But you get hard-ons, left, right, and center. And that carries on still carries on. Still, depending on individual to individual, it's different for everybody. But then you get hard. But apparently at one point you will get soft. You will go down. It will go down, and it will come back up again. You'll get hard, but it won't get as hard as maybe a used. Again, depending on different individuals. I think it's more of a mindset. I don't ever plan on getting soft. I'll say that because I'm fucking chief. Let me smell Yoqueef. That's what this guy is all about. So, but then if you do get soft, the point is that there's medicine out there. There's medicine. You can do hormone therapy, or you can get TRT, you can take pills, and you get hard, and then you can still do bukkakes well into your old age. So there's no need to worry about soft men. That's the saying. What were we talking about? Erectile dysfunction. I think that's been plaguing humanity ever since. That's some biblical shit right there, son. That is some biblical shit. They say sleeping patterns matter, of course. They say that it makes a huge difference. How you sleep impacts not just your sleep the night of, but the following day after. They say the position in which you sleep can impact your quality of sleep and the quality of your following day. Which is why I'd like to tell you to adjust your sleeping patterns. If you want to be prepared for a good night's sleep, sleep properly. But then again, you want to be planning for tomorrow. Which is why if you want to sleep like a boy, the way I sleep is I sleep standing up on one leg in a running position. So as soon as I wake up, I'm already up and going. A lot of people like to lay down. That's where soft, erectile-lead dysfunctional men. Again, standing on one leg, running position. As soon as my alarm goes off, I'm up and running, just fucking chasing it, whatever it is. I'm chasing it. Chief, smell you. Let me spell Yoqueef. That's what he does. He's out there getting after it, because depends what your day is like. Prepare. I would say prepare for what is on the agenda for tomorrow. If it's you're like, I want to make love to my woman in the morning, but sleep impacts me, and how I position myself will impact my tomorrow. Sleep on top of her. Sleep on top of her, because it impacts not just your sleep, but the following day, how you're gonna feel in the morning. You get up first thing, you're already locked in. You're locked in. You got that morning boner. You're already inside her. How many men have wasted minutes that have turned to hours, that have turned into days, months, years? You've lost 3 years of your life getting up and then making a move on your woman. Idiot. Sleep on your wife. You're like, what if she suffocates? She will thank you later for that. She will thank you later for that and call you daddy. Yeah, a lot of people like to sleep in their bed, get up, shower, shit, shave, then get in the car. Sleep in the car. Sleep in the car. As soon as you wake up, hit the gas, go. You're out there in traffic, beating everybody else to it. Sleep in the car. Sleep while you're driving. Sleep while you're driving. That is the best thing you could do, because then you're multitasking at this point. Go into lucid dreaming. Think of yourself just driving in your sleep, but you're actually driving in real life. They say the position which you fall asleep in impacts not just your sleep, but your following day. So prepare yourself. I don't know what your schedules are like. I can only give you tips and hints. I gotta get up and write this essay. I gotta type this. I say for the old professor, fucking, sleep on top of your computer. Crouch down on top of your computer and just fucking start typing. Start typing and not fall asleep. Do that. Prepare yourself, position yourself for whatever it is. You're like, oh, I got to do some welding in the morning. When I get up, get inside the bed with your welding equipment. Light it on fire, have it in hand. Let your tools be with you so you don't have to get up in the morning and do I got to do a wake up morning routine. Who's got time for that? Who has got time for that, okay? There are kids being prepared for tomorrow at the age of 1, and you are catching proper sleep and trying to have a work-life balance. That kid is going to become prime minister. You don't want to be out there snoozing and losing is all I'm saying, all right? You're like, I gotta hit the casino and do a little bit of gambling. Sleep in the casino. Sleep in the casino at the slots, all right? Melania Trump's meme coin creators. That's right, Melania Trump's meme coin creators, the people behind the meme coin for Melania Trump. They're caught up in a lawsuit. Apparently, fraud and pump and dump. They're caught up in that lawsuit right now. I'd like to take this time to say I'm glad to see that the first lady is out of the equation. She's not named in the lawsuit or anything, as far as I know. And that's the creator's fault. That is the creator's fault. But at the same rate, I'm here to defend pump and dumps. I'm here to defend pump and dumps, but not just for individuals of, it shouldn't just be for elite people. It shouldn't just be for the higher, upper echelons of society. I say it's high time, because I can say this firmly now as a landowner. I speak to you as chief, Letmesmell, Yoqueef, and I just want to say pumping and dumping is nature's or God-given, it's nature or God-given right to every individual. You should be able to pump and dump. Every person should have the ability and the resources to create meme coins and crypto and make money out of thin air, because we should prosper together, okay? I want it for you out there. I want you to be able to make your own meme coin. Pump it initially, okay? And then dump it whenever you're ready. Dump it whenever you're ready. Take out all the money. And if everybody does this, we all make bank. It shouldn't just be, I'm here for it. I don't believe in the lawsuit. I don't think it should stand. I like crypto. I think everybody should have their own pump and dump. It is, again, we have 5 birthrights as human beings. I'm not quite sure what they are, but one of them is definitely pumping. This at least 10. We got at least 10 of those God-given, nature-given rights, and pumping and dumping is right up there, at least in the top 20. At least it should be at least it would make the top 100 things that you would get as a human. Pumping and dumping is up there. It is, so create that meme coin if you've not already made one. If you got a little bit of loot, if you've got the connects, if you've got the individuals who can create it for you, if you can do it by yourself, Godspeed. Go out there and do it. Pump and dump, pump and dump hard. Okay. You pump it up, you boost up the prices. When people buy it, you sell it. I'm not even quite sure how it works, to be honest with you. You want to buy low yourself, all right? When the prices go up, you dump it and then recycle this method. And we keep it going. We keep it going for everybody. Everybody should be able to pump and dump. Again, I'm just happy to see that the First Lady gets hers, President Trump gets his, and everybody makes bank. I want I want everybody to get a meme coin and pump and dump, please. It's not a big ask. It's not, the technology is moving that way anyway. Everybody's being laid off their jobs, whether it's Amazon workers getting replaced by robots, whether it's the people who created the AI at Meta getting replaced by the AI that they created. People are losing their jobs, okay? There's not going to be many jobs that are safe out there. We are all going to have to comprehend that this whole thing, which we call the fiscal aspect of our lives, is a big Ponzi scheme. We all need to take advantage of Ponzi schemes. Please, let us all pump and dump together. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can just, brothers and sisters, gather our hands together and collectively say that we believe in pump and dump. We believe in pump and dump. We believe in pump and dump and prosperity through pumping and dumping and Ponzi schemes and making money out of thin air. Do you feel it? Do you feel the prosperity? I think we're onto something here. This is feeling right. I might just be feeling, I'm a little bit excited again. That's all. Just becoming a landowner, it's a little bit overwhelming, but I'm gonna, you know, you don't need to worry about me. I'm just excited. It's a lot of exciting events are unraveling before our eyes. God. What else is going on? I believe the NBA got caught up in a little bit of a scandy poo, a little bit of a scandal, a little bit of a scandy poo with the Mafia. Apparently, there's an investigation going on for several years. The FBI made arrests. 30 plus individuals have been arrested. In the NBA, coaches, players, and mafiosos, different family members from different Mafia gangs, arrested. Apparently, they were involved in illegal gambling games and illegal sports rigging. And to that I say, you leave the NBA alone and you leave the Mafia alone. Okay, the world is run on a few basic things: organized crime, and the flip side of that, which is reversed organized, which law and order. Okay, so there's got to be, in order to be law and order, there needs to be crime and it needs to be organized. Without it, then we just have law and order. And then what are you gonna do? Everybody's just a cop then? Everybody's just a narc? We gotta have somebody narc on. So don't catch everybody, catch a few, but let the others go. This thing of ours is a beautiful thing. You know, when cities were at times run by the mob, some people will say that it was actually better run. I've not experienced this myself. I don't know. You hear stories of Vegas. Who knows? The point is that gambling was going on. Illegal gambling games, underground gambling games. Devices were used. I didn't read too much into it. I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm gonna use my methods of deduction and speculation. Games were rigged. Poker games were held. Hands were dealt. The hands were dealt in an uneven pattern way. Methods of cheating were utilized to steal money from people, wealthy individuals who came in and forked out tons of money. Millions of dollars were lost. I don't know exactly how much. They cheated, and they used things like x-rays, goggles, the fun little, tech glasses, earpieces, see-through tables, see-through walls, see-through people. They used see-through people. The MBAs used see-through people in order to be, they'd have people who were see-through, and they saw through them, and they were first marginalized because of their lack of just melanin and overall just they had no color. They were see-through, but then they got involved in illegal gambling. Technology was used, cards were flipped, money was doubled. There was a lot of small talk, a lot of smokes, a lot of cigars were lit in these rooms. They were illegal because that's, you should do it at a casino. But then again, it's fun to do certain, the forbidden fruit does taste a little bit better. So the Mafia is just, there's no such thing as the Mafia. It's just good individuals having a good time. This whole notion of organized crime is a little bit far-fetched. It's a little bit, it's out there. If you want to be going out there and chasing leprechauns and unicorns, you could waste your time and resources, but I say let it be continuous. It's a good source of income, right? Is what it is. You're trying to get in there and we're trying to make loot. We are just trying to make loot. If individuals are getting injured in the games, it's just part of the game. If people are taking falls, they're taking themselves out, taking other players out, if they're giving insider information as to a potential injury, doesn't matter. I don't care who you are. These things happen. People bet on it. Online gambling rules. This podcast, like many other podcasts, could be brought to you by an online gambling agency, corporation. It doesn't matter. Get in there. Bet 360. Betting Kings. Kings bet. You've bet. You like to make a bet? You can make a bet right now. Bet your life on it. You can bet online. Tired of going to casinos? You can bet online now. Underage, overage, don't worry about it. You can bet online. You got many monkeys on your back that you're fighting? Well, guess what? You can replace all those monkeys with a really good monkey. It's called gambling. Replace all your other addictions with one solid addiction: gambling, online gambling. Do that. Sports betting. How many times is a player gonna fart in a game? How many times is a female NBA player gonna leak from her vagina? Is she on her period? Do you know? Do you have insider information? Do you know if she's bleeding this month? Has she taken a pill to not to ever bleed again? Is she on the pill right now? Is she just dunk? Is she pregnant? Let's bet on them getting pregnant. The point is that illegal gambling and the mafia and sports have it's a long history. It goes way back. All right, it's involved in many sports: soccer, football, basketball, any sport really. Anything you can look at and think of is, at the high levels. There's a little bit of it going. I don't know to what extent it goes on, but it is the source of income for people to feed their families, because there's ways you can get money legitimately and illegitimately, and it's hard to get a good pedagogy for your kid when you're making minimum wage. These are good families trying to put food on the table and also stool gaze with cameras so they can fit in with the elite of society so that they don't feel left out. Stool gazing traditionally will make it's going to make your kids feel inadequate and lesser than. Whereas if you make bank, you're bringing money's being brought, food is being put on the table, money's being brought in for the so these are families, all right? You want to go crack down on families trying to eat out there? It's only a select few who can make money. How's that? Leave the mafia alone. Leave the NBA alone. Leave whoever's making bank alone out there. As long as you're not hurting anybody. In case there were people who were hurting people, then maybe bust them. If anybody brought a gat and popped a few people in the shoulder with the gat, pistol whipped anybody, then get those guys. But anybody else who made bank, they were just doing what they were told. They're just part of the order. There's rules and regulations and levels to shit. These are things that I've heard, which I have no idea what they mean. But nonetheless, people are trying to make money is all I'm saying, okay? It's not easy. Not everybody has rich parents. You got to get yours. Get in where you fit in. Fit in. Get in where you fit in. Fitting rooms. Get in where you change. Changing rooms. Get in where you fit in. Fitting rooms. Changing rooms. Which these rooms don't even exist, man. These changing rooms, they say get in where you fit. Try to fit in where you get in. Fitting rooms, changing rooms, rooms that will allow you to change. I've seen people go into changing rooms, and change is not something that is, a room can't change you. I'll say that. A room can't change you. These so-called changing rooms. So change comes no matter what. You'll never step into the same puddle of doo-doo twice in a row unless you're caught in some sort of freak glitch matrix simulation where you literally step in a pile of doo-doo and then clean your shoes and then walk and then again step in the same pile of doo-doo. And that's just sometimes the universe is just winking at you, telling you to, hey, fucking wake up. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that Elon Musk is in need of $1 trillion pay cut, shares. I believe he wants shares. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan of everybody out there. As you grow up, you mature, you just become try to become understanding of everyone's shoes and sizes, because they say put your shoes on before you try on another man's pair of shoes, which makes it really difficult. It's like, how do you take your shoes off before you put another man's pair of shoes on? It's hard to walk in another man's shoes unless you're the same size. Put an insole in your shoes. Take the insoles of your shoes, place them in the other man's shoes so it allows you to still walk comfortably. If the shoe fits, then it's the right size. Take the time to walk around a little bit. Sometimes people make hasty decisions because of branding and logos. I'll go with these shoes. Walk around when you're buying shoe. Walk around a little bit. Pace around. See if it's actually comfortable. You know the saying. buyer's remorse. The point is that Elon Musk needs $1 trillion. I believe he said there's going to be a decision that's made, I think sometime in November, where he's going to get either a large sum of money or shares. I think it's shares. He gets more shares in the Tesla company, which I recently found I thought he owned the whole thing. Doesn't he own the whole thing? I thought he owned the whole thing. Apparently, I think he's got like 10 or 11% of it, but he wants more so that he feels comfortable building robot armies, ladies and gentlemen, a robot army. And it's easy to jump in and say, oh, boo, trillionaire man with his army and Tesla and rockets and holes in the ground. It's easy, but don't go booing what is ours, because he is ours. He belongs to the West. He is our. It's essentially you're investing in yourself. You're investing in and you want him to be comfortable, because Elon Musk needs to build those robots and he needs to be comfortable. Because if he doesn't build those robots and he's not comfortable, then guess what? There's going to be what are we going to have? Some Chinese trillionaire making robots, and a robot army, by the way, a robot army, not just robots. They're robot armies for them to. So meanwhile, you're again juggling your day-to-day tasks, thinking, what am I going to do about my job that's probably going to get replaced by AI or a robot? What about my children? Do I need to spend money on pedagogy, or do I just hand them a tablet and throw them into the wild? Or do I just start creating my own meme coin? Or if not, can I do a little bit of gambling inside my house or dwelling? And then all these things are happening. It doesn't matter. The point is that there's robots, army robots are being built, and you don't want the remaining people on Earth to have to fight an army robot without an army robot. So if he wants to get $1 trillion worth of shares so that he feels safe and secure to build the robots, which will inevitably take out all of us, you still want to be in the game. So to let him get the shares is what I'm saying. Get the shares to Elon Musk, all right, okay? I just want to say that as a new landowner and a man of prosperity, wealth, and influence with all my land. As an indigenous man, I would say that look to nature for answers when you're perplexed and confused. Look to nature. We're evolving. Things are moving fast. Robot armies are needed because there's going to be either Chinese or Russian robots out there, maybe, I'm not sure, but mostly probably Chinese robots. And we're going to need a robot army. And once they're finished taking out those robot armies, you're not going to have much to do, all right? You're not going to have much to do. Because a lot of it we'll figure it out. It's one step away. There's a bridge that we will cross when we get there. But until then, if others are potentially building robot armies, you've seen the videos. You've seen what they do. They are now kicking, flipping, doing kung fu, doing tai chi, meditating, washing dishes, but also flinging a few. And one of those dishes will one day hit you in the face, and you're gonna want your own army of robots. Well, it won't be like yours, but it will represent you, at least, like not you specifically. It doesn't matter. But you as in like us as a collective. So I want him to get the $1 trillion. And I want him to also become a potential donor to this podcast. And I like other people to become donors to this podcast, just like you've gone out there and donated your money and resources to the ball. I would like to, because again, if you were just tuning in right now, I have just become a landowner. I would like I'm going to probably make a ballroom or two of my own on my land. As an indigenous man, me and my people have always loved ballrooms. I remember stories of my great-grandparents on horseback and then getting off the horse and then going into ballrooms and just fucking throwing it down. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out. Get out of here.